canceled games, mistreated staff, and more. Activision-Blizzard's mistakes hidden by profit. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright everyone, let's have a chat about what is going on underneath the surface of Activision-Blizzard. Because there was some spicy stuff today that hasn't been widely talked about. I'll get into why soon. Now, the Activision side of the business really seems to be going from strength to strength, publicly and by the numbers. But there are recent reports that tie to, or point to, some very messy resource handling, and also some rumors and things from sources to get into. Then for the Blizzard side of the business, well, it's a bit odd because yes, World of Warcraft is performing, giving them the numbers they want, but they're still losing millions of players, have done over the last few years, basically because their projects are taking a long time.
Yeah, Blizzard, what was it? Like, I'm trying to remember, for a couple days ago I read it. World of Warcraft lost like 30% of its players over the last year during COVID. They lost like 30% of their player base during COVID. Not good, dude.
To get out, and they're now having to even accommodate the incoming Activision support
earnings are up.
studios.
Yeah, true. That is true. You think they all died? World of Warcraft is a boomer game, right? So do you think that those 30% of WoW players that are not playing anymore, they were like 85 or 90 and they got COVID and died? Is WoW really that old of a demographic? I don't know.
Today, we're going to work through all this. We're going to make sense of what's actually going on. That's what we're going to do. If you want to support us in doing that and also get some cool loot, you can check out the Patreon link down below. With that said, let's go.
That's pretty cool.
Alright, so as you're going to know from our coverage, ActiBliz just had a banging quarter, right? They had incredible revenue growth, and Call of Duty Mobile pushed Activision to 147 million monthly active users.
Wow.
Now, Shadowlands did well, but Blizzard's MAUs have been dwindling, which is obviously hardly a surprise because Overwatch was 2016 and the other things have been...
Can I show you guys a mobile game I've been playing? Just real quick. I'm actually becoming quite a mobile gamer, and I want to show you what it is. I'm actually really good at it. I'm going to hold up my phone. You guys can watch me do it, all right? Check this out. It's called Sling Plane, and pretty much what you do is you do this, and hold up. You pull the sling, and then it shoots the plane, and then you can control it. And dude, I laid in bed for like an hour today. I was just sling planing around. Man, it was so fucking fun. Sponsored. Dude, I'm actually really stupid. Like, what happens is, you love these games? There's like 15 of these same, pretty much identical games made by the same dogshit Chinese mobile game company. And they're all like complete fucking shameless cash grabs. Like, between every round of gameplay, it's like a 30-second gameplay round, whatever. There is like a 30-second mobile ad. And then it's like, oh, you can pay $5 to get rid of ads permanently. And I hate to say it, over the last 6 months, I have downloaded probably 7 of these games from this shitty fucking Chinese company. And I've spent probably $20 over 6 months skipping these ads. I actually have paid to get rid of them. It's just, like, I'm just a fucking boomer dumbass. I'm just like, I see the ads on Instagram or something, like, oh, wow, that looks really fun. And you know the ones with the puzzle where it's like you have to pull out the key, and then the slime comes up, and then the guy's got to go this way, you pull out the other key, and it's like, you know, it's like the little puzzle ones, right? Those games are never what is fucking advertised. It's never, like, you're like, oh, that looks fun, I'd love to do those little puzzles. You download it, there's no fucking puzzles! There ain't no puzzles in those fucking games, man. I'm pissed off. I just want to do puzzles.
Now, what is becoming apparent is that things are quite a mess over there. And that is really a lot of what we're going to talk about today.
Okay. Back to the video.
Now, it's important to know that while a lot of the stuff here is, you know, unconfirmed, look, it is based on a few corroborated sources. It is stuff that I do believe to be true, based on that. Obviously, though, take stuff with a pinch of salt. So, while earnings calls are, you know, about the company, right, are all going to be showing off their good numbers, right, putting the good spin and everything, Activision's did raise a few questions. Staffing was a big topic of it, where Bobby reconfirmed their plan to hire 2,000 developers within the next 2 years, and that some of their teams are even going to triple in size. Now, some of that hiring has already been taking place. We've actually seen quite a bit of it, and it likely explains Sledgehammer having an entire new studio. But this commitment to expansion I mean, the other side of it is something that we kind of now know about Activision, and that is that they are seemingly not particularly great at managing staff.
2,000 employees, that will make... Okay, like, here's the unfortunate thing that, like, no one ever wants to admit, but, like, you know, it's got to be true to some extent. Everyone's like, oh, Blizzard laid off 800 people, and, like, I'm not, like, a corporate shield defender, and you guys know I'm always eager to shit on Blizzard, okay? Like, that's not what this is, but this is probably true to some degree. Like, those 800 people that got laid off or whatever the fuck a couple years ago, Blizzard obviously did some internal analysis, right, of their employee performance and, like, who's useful and who's not, and Blizzard determined that those people were not useful, right? I hate to say, like, maybe their position wasn't useful anymore, or maybe those individuals, like the actual, because of personality issues or individual performance issues, those, like, Blizzard determined those people are not useful. So it's like, just because they fired 800 people that they determined they don't need does not negate the fact that they decide they might need 2,000 more in a different area or whatever, right? You know what I mean? That's the way of business. Like, sometimes you fire people, you hire new people that are hopefully better, right? I don't know. Awful take, Staysafe, corporate chill. Yeah, exactly.
Their reputation with contractors is particularly poor. Now, much has been written by the press about the game industry's just ongoing problem with people basically being permatemps. I remember there being big reports out about that in regards to Treyarch. That is a big problem, but when it basically comes to ensuring that temporary employees are disposable as possible, Activision Blizzard are kind of pros. They're especially bad when it comes to outsourced workers as well. Now, Activision Blizzard's flippant approach to staffing, of course, is something that clashes.
Everything that they've outsourced has been a complete fucking flop, right? Pretty much. I mean, I think so. They outsourced StarCraft Brood War Reforged, and that was like a fucking... I don't think that was bad. It was just not popular. It was just a flop. Obviously, the biggest example is Warcraft 3 Reforged. That was a complete fucking pile of trash, and that was outsourced also. Diablo 2 is being outsourced. I don't know. Like, I'm not... I hate to say it. Like, Diablo 2 is a good game. It's a really great game. But in the year 2021, does anyone give a fuck about Diablo 2? I love Diablo 2. I have so many memories, but it's like, do we really give that much of a fuck about it? I'll probably spend like 10 hours playing it, maybe do one playthrough, you know? But I don't think Diablo 2 has the same like replayability that a game like Vanilla WoW does. Vanilla WoW is obviously a re-release. I think Vanilla WoW is like kind of the exception. And even TBC to a certain extent. I hate to be like super doomer mode, but I hate to say it, like, I don't think TBC has that same magic that Vanilla does. Remember the hype and the build-up and all the speculation and waiting for Classic to come out, and it's like, oh, dude, fucking Classic, man. In a lot of ways, like, the Classic hype was more fun and more tantalizing and titillating than actually playing Classic. And TBC... You know, actually, TBC is going to be the exact opposite. Playing TBC is going to be better than the TBC hype. It has to be, because there's no fucking TBC hype. Like, TBC is a really good game. It's a really, really good game. It has its own two legs to stand on, but it's not a magical game. Vanilla WoW, Classic, it's like it's like a fucking legendary. It's like a legendary, magical fucking mystique game, you know? TBC's not like that. It is a good game, though.
Their current strategy of chopping and changing development resources all about the place. And this is where we get to the big recent example, which of course is Toys for Bob. New sources suggest that Crash 4 did not meet Activision's sales projections as set by the Insane Trilogy sales. Sadly, this reportedly led to the cancellation of all of Toys for Bob's ongoing projects, and the staff being shifted across to, I believe, mainly Call of Duty, but also...
I mean, this is like a classic scenario. Okay, this is Crash Bandicoot, right? This is a game that was popular in the, late 90s, early 2000s, so it's people that are my age. You're 25 plus, you're 25 to 35. You probably grew up playing a couple of Crash Bandicoot games. You played them when you were kids or early teenagers. And so they're making a new Crash Bandicoot game. I think they're doing re-releases also of Crash Bandicoot, but it's like, who's the target audience? People that are 28 do not want to play Crash Bandicoot, and kids that are like Crash Bandicoot age, that are 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, don't give a fuck about Crash Bandicoot because they're playing Fortnite. Like, they have no attachment to Crash Bandicoot because it's been 15 years since the Crash Bandicoot game came out. The last game came out before they were alive, right? So I looked at this, I was like, wow, new Crash Bandicoot game. Who gives a fuck, you know?
And the staff being shifted across to, I believe, mainly Call of Duty, but also some Overwatch 2. Apparently, Crash 5 was in the works alongside Wumpa League. But I now hear that both have been axed following the per-sales performance of Crash 4.
Yep.
And while Activision denied that there was layoffs at Toys for Bob, what we have seen is a lot of people leave that company as a result of the shifting of resources. Which would make a lot of sense, because look, if you worked on, say, the Skylanders games, you then end up working on Crash, you're working in Spyro, are you really going to be the type of artist who wants to make gun skins for Call of Duty, right? I mean, people aren't as seamlessly transferable as Activision seem to believe, and I think a lot of us customers intuitively know that putting the Spyro people onto the gritty shooting game is odd, right? Now, what kind of sales were Activision expecting anyway from Crash 4? Because Crash 4 released at the turn of a new console generation with a big premium price tag and without the, all-important trilogy nostalgia factor. I mean, against the Insane trilogy, it wasn't really as good of a value, because the Insane trilogy was a pretty insane value, and this whole thing was Activision's doing in a way. At any rate, Crash 4's underperformed.
Dude, I remember going to Burger King. The year was like 1999 or maybe 2000, and I was in the Burger King play place. They had the little place where you could, if you're a kid, you crawl around, and they had a Nintendo 64 hooked up to a TV in the Burger King play place, and I was sitting there eating a hamburger with one hand, playing Crash Bandicoot with the other hand. Dude, man, you're never gonna have that shit again, man. Memories like that.
Performance is said to have prompted Activision to nix all retro-inspired titles, which certainly does not bode well for people hoping to see a new Spyro after the success of Reignited trilogy, which, suffice to say, that has dampened a lot of my spirits. Now, speaking of which, development on that was apparently absolute chaos for Spyro. There was a lot of underpaid outsourcing, severe burnout, and iffy things.
Dude, Espos, hey man.
Now, these cancellations also meant the abrupt closure of any of the ongoing outsourcing contracts, which then ended up leaving teams and individual contractors a little bit out in the cold with not really much notice. Activision also have apparently got a whole thing going on about artists not being able to share their work until it has been monetized in an official art book. Now, I get holding back until release because you don't want to give up your game, but holding for the art book, outsourced talent also are not allowed to speak about their involvement in a project until it's actually made public knowledge, for an example, through the game credits. Now, the thing there is that's basically trying to brush under the rug how much of some of those games are actually done via outsourcing. Now, this is fine-ish for released games, but it does make any, canceled games basically feel like big old wastes of time.
I can't wait to see the drama on Twitter. I'm most excited for that.
Involved. Freelancers won't be able to promote the work that they've done because of rules like this, so, not only did their recent project collapse, that collapse might actually stop them from getting further work because they won't be able to use that stuff in a public portfolio. And also, they apparently had basically no notice of that going either. But I mean, hey, 2,000 more staff will sure help to fix up those issues, right? And I guess it's that thing, their size is one of their greatest strengths. They are hugely profitable. I mean, a 50% margin, I believe, is what Activision Publishing runs at. And they do own some of the most beloved and popular
That's a huge
IPs
fucking margin,
in
dude.
gaming. And must surely have their pick of talent, right? So with the amount of resources that they do have at their disposal, you'd think that there should be no limit to the kind of creative and innovative projects that are coming out of this company. And that's what makes Activision-Blizzard's recent laser focus on Call of Duty feel like a waste. They have such great diverse talent working across a very varied library of IPs, but they really do seem to have all been just redirected into more Call of Duty to feed that beast, to feed that new ecosystem. Now, it's obviously an incredibly popular franchise, yes, but the bulk of Activision's development resources are, I mean, they're apparently now dedicated to operating that. That's not ideal if you want an Activision that's got a little bit more of a balanced portfolio. Now, sources claim that Activision have axed all of those retro-focused projects, so that really does mean that, like, is their future pretty much just Call of Duty? Like, I had still assumed that Beanox were going to be seeing Wumpa League and the new Spyro game over the finish line.
Innovation is equal to 50%. Who... How can I put this? What is the best, most innovative, most respectful, most upstanding, most positive-oriented game development studio? Like, what is the most ethical, positive, badass, everyone loves them studio at the moment? If I asked this question in the year 2002, everyone would say Blizzard, right? If you asked, what's like the best studio, great games, everyone loves them, like in the early 2000s, you'd say, oh, Activision Blizzard, right? Obviously. Actually, it wasn't Activision at that point. That's the fucking thing. What would you say now? What would you say now? Because I don't really play many other games. Who did Valheim? I don't know, something indie Swedish studio or something like that. CDPR, GGG? Huh. Anyway, I bring it up. I'm curious what is a normal profit margin, like for these for other studios that are managed differently, not Activision. I wonder what their profit margins are, because who knows? Maybe 50% is not that good. Maybe it's actually low. Who knows? GGG's PoE. Okay, I didn't know that. Jagex. Who knows? Yeah. I wouldn't say Jagex is the best that there is. I wouldn't say that. I mean, you look at other industries. Like, what do you think McDonald's profit margin is? Like, insanely high. Probably higher than 50%. Probably higher than 50%. You think 10? Now I'm curious. Hold up. McDonald's profit margin. I don't think this is going to be public information. Wait, actually, maybe it is. Oh, it is. I think it is. McDonald's profit margin quarterly. Oh, wow. They're running, like, on average, it's probably like a 25 or 30% profit margin. You average this out. Yeah, it seems to be like they're a steady... Can I do 10 years? No, I don't want a credit report. Guys, let's do an on-stream credit report. Hell yeah, you guys can see my credit rating and everything. It's going to be badass. Okay, so they're around like 25% or 30%. Okay, so 50 is good. Then 50 is pretty fucking good, right? Compared to McDonald's. Whoops, my bad. Okay, whatever. Anyway, let's keep watching the Bellular video. My bad. I'm sorry.
That seems to be a bit more of a conflicted thing now. So it seems that all roads apparently do lead to Call of Duty. But then again, rumors also suggest that this year's installment is in a bit of a bad way. Now with that, Activision only just confirmed officially that Sledgehammer are in charge of that game, and that they're heading up they're basically heading up an all-hands-on-deck sort of cabal of support studios to actually get the thing out the door. Which is, of course, not exactly an encouraging sign for, the franchise that all of your studios are working on, right? That they're throwing all these resources here, yet it seems the new Call of Duty is still in some strife, and that has came at the expense of games that I think diversify the Activision portfolio by quite a bit, and also were great for their brand, right? Like an Activision that's, yes, doing Call of Duty, but is also doing Spyro and Tony Hawk and Crash and Sekiro. That is a more interesting company. And it seems like they're laser focusing away from that, at least for now. Maybe diversity is what those 2,000 developers will actually allow them to achieve. Now, the exception here, of course...
Can I ask, because I don't really play other games, do other super large game development studios have this many pissed off nerds complaining about everything they do, or is this really unique to Blizzard and Activision? Like do people that play Fallout have this many pissed off nerds? Does Path of Exile have this many pissed off nerds? Yeah, they do. I know that League of Legends has this many pissed off nerds. Okay. All right, that's just the way it is then?
Because their core franchises, they're still just about hanging on, right? Though, of course, resource shifting has been seen in both the Diablo and Overwatch teams, who have been a little bit Activision infiltrated. But not exactly in a bad way. I mean, Vicarious Visions are awesome, and they were formally merged into Blizzard off the back of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster.
Wow.
And I guess then, with the retro projects being on the back burner at best... Are they the de facto heads of the Diablo franchise, or are they just coming in to give the existing Diablo team significant support on D4? I suppose in a production capacity. Now, we do know that they're working on Resurrected, which people who I trust a great deal in terms of their opinions, like, say, SkillUp, say is a really incredible experience. I'm excited for that, and of course
I'm kind of sleeping on D4, man. I'm not super optimistic, dude.
Now, Toys for Bob reportedly have been pushed a little bit over to Overwatch, and while we don't know exactly how much input they have, the news and rumblings of that did coincide with Jeff Kaplan leaving Blizzard after, 2 decades. Now, for the other things, World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, they do appear to be the only teams kind of left untouched by the Activision stuff coming in. Who knows? Maybe they are on the list somewhere, because obviously World of Warcraft has had a bit of a tough time, really, for multiple years now, which is honestly deeply depressing for somebody like me. Yeah, Blizzard have just had a bit of a weird year. Their recent financial report confirmed that their revenue is actually up 7% year over year to just shy of $500 million, but their monthly active users are actually down 16% to 27 million. And those MAUs, I remember them being up at 38 million, right? That's what they were.
I think the takeaway is, I think Blizzard just does not give really that much of a fuck about MAUs for World of Warcraft. Monthly active, all they care about is how much money people, the people that are playing, how much money are they spending? And that number is up, even though MAUs are down. So
I
guess they don't care.
But they have just been steadily reducing and declining each year. And that's even with the likes of Classic's incredible success bolstering them up again. Blizzard's most recent numbers, in fact, represent a 29% decrease on that 2018 figure. And you kind of wonder, but why? For all of this, and I'd say there that the revenue increase is actually quite a straightforward thing. Blizzard's financials.
So that is to say, over the last 4 years, or 3.5 years, Blizzard has lost, World of Warcraft has lost 29% of its MAUs, and that's a year and a half of which was during COVID.
Attribute this jump to basically just being Shadowlands and WoW Classic.
Not good.
Both released last year. And they're both pretty heavily monetized too. Especially with the Burning Crusade, we're finding that out now as well. So their engagement for those particular brands in terms of net bookings, that was really good. But overall, it's going down and down.
Yeah,
so
COD
very
makes a fuck
much
ton of money.
looks like the WoW expansions and the game updates, they are, they're maintaining one of their business lines, but it seems like that's happening while Blizzard's other business lines are just bleeding out a bit. And that basically just means they need more releases. Overwatch was their last entirely new property. That was back in 2016. Since then, Blizzard's games have, of course, had plenty of updates, little expansions for Hearthstone and stuff, which, by the way, have generally been pretty awesome. But it's clearly not been enough to actually keep that number, monthly active users, going in the direction the company would want. And I think when you look at the big graph of monthly active users, you see, you're in the 40 millions for Activision. And then
wait, Overwatch has not seen new content in over a year? Does that mean no new champions, no new anything? No nothing? I guess they're just waiting for Overwatch 2.
COD Mobile takes that to the 150 million range.
Overwatch 2.
I think it's pretty damn obvious then why Diablo Immortal is a massive priority for Blizzard right now, and also why J. Allen Brack mentioned the multiple World of Warcraft, or just Warcraft franchise-related mobile games that are in the works. Now, for big releases, it doesn't look like things are going to change anytime soon, because Diablo 2 Resurrected is almost certainly going to hit a big nostalgia vein like with WoW Classic, and I think it actually will bring in some new players, maybe Diablo 3 and Path of Exile, people who are new to that genre and kind of want to go and experience some of the DNA of the action RPG, but I don't think it's going to be absolutely massive. As for Diablo Immortal,
I don't think it's going to be that big.
It's the sort of thing I think
D2 is going to be kind of a flash in the pan thing where you see people playing it for a week or two at most, and then it's gone and just completely forgotten about. Do you agree? You agree? I see people saying the same thing. Yeah.
The core gamers are really not going to care, but I think there actually is quite a large audience who would be interested in a game like that, because it's entirely possible to pull off an action RPG on mobile that feels really fun. It's just, will the monetization basically kill it? We do not know yet. Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, come on. Big budget sequels. They're almost certainly going to do the job they need to for Blizzard. But it very much doesn't look like they're not going to release until next year, at perhaps the earliest. I've been continually surprised about how far off Overwatch 2 development seems to be. Now, there is also word that Blizzard are cancelling and reshuffling a lot of internal projects, many of which we've not actually heard about publicly. So it's kind of hard to confirm what their actual focus is. Though we do hear the morale is suffering, and certainly low pay is not helping talent attrition either, because there are many cases where you can, with pretty much the same job title, hop over to Riot Games.
Figured I'd update this since people are finding it again after a year. Okay, so this person is Persian, is cis, female, 27, computer science degree, okay? Blizzard intern, $16.75 an hour. Blizzard associate, PM. What is PM? Associate project manager, $59K. Blizzard project manager, $74K. Can someone confirm that's what PM is? Because I'm not sure. I'm assuming product. Okay, product manager. What's cis? Riot PM, 134. Riot PM to the second level, 163K. Riot game producer, 168. Yeah, that's fucking insane. Holy fuck. Actually, like, I'm gonna be honest. I just kind of assumed that everyone that's like working at a tech company in the like Anaheim, LA, Southern California area, I assume they're all just like default like 100K starting. But I guess that's like totally fucking wrong.
Games, who I believe are located
per year, yeah,
close to Blizzard.
I guess I was way off.
You're going to get in some cases, 50 or even 100% increase in your compensation. And that's a lot of people in that industry. They're being transparent about it.
No, you're right. So to clarify, like, Steve says 59K in Southern California is low. Yeah, I don't know, like 59K. Let's just say 60K. 60K in Southern California is like probably like 40K where I live in the Portland area. So it's not like you can live on. It's not the end of the world. It's not terrible, right? But it's not what you would expect. It's not what you'd expect.
Their wages and stuff like that, and it generally has not looked good for Blizzard whenever that's happened. So, I mean, yeah, they're hiring all these developers, but on the Blizzard side, are they going to start offering competitive industry rates for the Irvine area? I wouldn't hold my breath, which is obviously unfortunate, because if you want to get the best, and if you want to keep the best, you're going to have to be competitive in wages. Now, Activision's faith in Overwatch appears to be a little questionable too. The Blizzard section of their earnings slideshow only refers to the Overwatch League thanks to its new Chinese esports partnership, and, not really stuff about the actual game. Contrast that with the same reporting in the same period last year, where the slideshow was talking about Overwatch's, overall player count and stuff like that. So, that's really it for today. I think the main point of this video was to offer a little bit of color and context to a lot of the reporting that's been going on there. We've, it's the sort of thing, if you're on the right Patreons of some people in the games industry, you'll hear a lot of interesting things. And then also we've had, over the last while, people give us little hints and stuff. It's the sort of thing, obviously, I'm not going to say anything in a way that's personally identifiable to, anyone involved in any of this stuff. And that's why, if you wanted a whole bunch of, big, juicy details, I purposefully am not including any of that because, I obviously don't want to get anyone in trouble. But just, for some vibes, right? Some of the vibes that people feel internally in the games industry, they're not always necessarily great about this company, which is, sad, right? I mean, I did start this entire thing off with my life's dream and goal to work at Blizzard and work on World of Warcraft. Times have changed, sadly. Okay, that's it for me.
All right, nice video.